Greetings. Oh boy, this ice thing, right? It's really triggering. It's like meant to be triggering. It's got to be triggering you by design, trying to excite you by design. I mean, it's actually horrible. It's doing things that I really don't like. During the WTO protests in Seattle in 1999, we were all standing around this corner when this van pulled up. Guys got out, didn't really identify themselves, and just grabbed one of the activists from an NGO, a well-known activist named Victor Minotti. He was just grabbed off the corner and taken into a van. And I almost like, I'm going to grab them. These are kidnappers. We don't know who they are. What the heck is going on? That was my thought, my feeling. I thought if I see something like that again, I'm going to grab that guy by the neck. Whoever's grabbing him, I'll grab their head. And then they won't be able to do anything. They'll have to draw on me, or it's going to go next level. But I'm not going to just let that happen again, right? Somebody just get grabbed. And that's the footage you see, these masked men with no ID grabbing people. And then we have this kind of constitution where you're not supposed to get arrested, without due process, right? There's got to be some process. This goes all the way back to habeas corpus, common law, and also we have this thing called the posse comitatus. We're not supposed to have the American military here on American soil against the citizens. Well, of course they can say, oh, Jeff, we're always just arresting the worst of the worst, the hardened criminals and stuff. That's the only people we're arresting, the super hard, But then they show up and they're at a parking lot, like a Home Depot parking lot, just grabbing low-level day laborers. What the heck? What is it? And then we hear that there's some kind of bounty that they get a certain amount per head that they get. We never wanted policing to be incentivized with money. In other words, police go out there and write. The more tickets you write, the more you get. Right? That happens. We don't like that. And when that starts to happen, usually communities say, "Hey, they're being racist against us. Something's happening. This police department no longer serves us to protect and serve the public." That's the duty. We pay you the tax money, so you protect and serve. I don't care if the citizens are behaving well and they're not writing any tickets. That's actually the ideal situation, right? And so the idea that they're getting a bonus for grabbing someone, and then that's how they're grabbing Americans, grabbing people that aren't even illegal aliens, they're just grabbing whoever. And that's so triggering. It just really triggers you, right? It really triggers me. If I see someone jump out of a van with a mask on and no ID, no warrant, I think they're a criminal. I want to stop them. If they're grabbing someone, I think they're kidnapping that person. So I'm going to do whatever I can to stop them. Of course, they're going to be super armed up and they'll probably tase me or something, But it's just really triggering that this is happening. And it seems like the Democrats, all they're doing is kind of pointing fingers back at ICE and back at Trump. So it turns into kind of another celebrity tit for tat. It's bad policy, and it is very triggering. It's the next level. So they have to, now they can show us Stormy Daniels' boobs. We're no longer impacted by that. So now they have to start grabbing people off the streets, and now we're triggered. Now we're ready to fall into the trap. I know I am. I know they're down there Coast Guard Island right now. I'm like, get off. Get out. Posse comitatus. Now. Habeas corpus. Now. Constitution. Now. ID yourself and get out of here. Take off your mask. ID yourself. Tell me why you're here, what you're doing. Okay, get out. Right? And it's very triggering. I'm so worried that they're here in the Bay Area and what they're going to start doing. But I don't want to focus too hard on it. There's other things happening, of course. That's always the thing. Then I forget, oh God, what else? Oh, I thought I was going to do something about Israel-Palestine the other day. And then I got all freaked out on Ukraine. It's like there's so many things going on. But have a good one. Stay calm, I guess. That's still keep your humanity. Keep your sense of humor and your humanity. I think, when violence starts happening, that's one of the things that goes away right away. I know when violence is happening around me, my sense of humor, I'm kind of like, oh, let me make a joke about this. No, it's like there's urgency. I want to stop the violence. I want to stop the pain, stop the thing that's hurting this person or whatever, right? So it's just, you tend to get freaked out and to kind of get off your footing a little bit. And I think that's kind of where we're all at, you know? And then also, what will it lead to do to, like, so armed up ICE agents that are grabbing people without a warrant? When will people start to conflate that with local law enforcement? So they just see they had a bad experience with this guy in a vest who grabbed them and threw them in the van, you know? Another thing we've let happen here recently in the Bay Area is Flock, this Israeli camera system network of cameras that all get fused together, and they of course they say the same thing. Oh, it's hard and crime. We're totally focused on just stopping hard crime. That's what the Flock cameras are all for. But then they start writing tickets to people in their cars who haven't even violated any laws yet. And you're so poor, and then you have to go downtown and fight this ticket. That's what happened in New York. I think it was Scarsdale, New York. Scarsdale, New York voted to get rid of Flock. And then right about that time, of course, all the sycophantic, dim-tart idiots in the way, that's when we voted to give ourselves Flock. So now we have spent our hard-earned money on this camera system that is surveilling us and collecting data on us and sending it God knows where. We're not in control of Flock. Oakland is not in control of the Flock camera system. So we don't know where the camera imagery is going, where the data is going. And, you know, it's horrible. It's the worst thing ever. We got Flock. We needed the library to stay open late. We needed better bike paths. We needed an organic garden and more green space. There's a lot of things we need. More surveillance cameras is not one of them. And having ICE here on this island, Coast Guard Island, horrible. Horrible. Like I said, keep your humanity, keep your head, keep your calm. You might need to do something. You might need to try to unarrest somebody. If I see him just grabbing somebody I think is kind of an innocent looking person at a Home Depot or something like that, I'm going to be triggered. I'm going to say, no, you can't just arrest that man. Where's your warrant? Who are you? Who even are you? If you're masked, you're not identifying yourself, and you don't have a warrant, no, you can't arrest this man in front of me. Can't do it. That's what makes me feel vulnerable inside. All right, stay strong.